Hello, my name is Matthias and welcome to the FPL Scope and the weekly wildcard draft for Game Week 2. If you're new to this channel and haven't seen this video series before, this is something that I do every single game week where I basically select a wildcard squad. I try to select what I think is the best squad to have currently in FPL. And I do it a bit differently from most content creators. I don't go through the team from goalkeepers through defenders, midfielders, and forwards. I go through it from pick number 1 through pick number 15, where the number 1 pick is the player that I think is the most important player to have currently in FPL, and the 15th pick is the player that I'm the least certain to have in the squad, but that still made the squad, basically. I'm also going to talk about the players that have dropped out since last time, which is quite a lot of players this time around, because my Game Week 1 draft wasn't really the best, didn't really do the best in Game Week 1 at least. And then I also will talk about 3 players that were on the cusp, almost made the squad, but didn't for one reason or another, basically. So let's go into the picks. And the number 1 pick, the most important player to have currently in FPL still for me, is Mohamed Salah. It's a bit closer now between number 1 and number 2. The player number 2 now has made his mark for sure in Game Week 1 and made it a bit of a battle between the number 1 pick in this draft, but Salah still gets the number 1 pick because I think he's going to be the best captaincy option in 3 out of the next 4 game weeks. Newcastle away, I think, is a pretty tough game, but we've seen Salah do really well in that fixture in the past. I still think it's going to be difficult. I think Newcastle will sit a bit more back than usual because they don't have Isak, obviously, who's also heavily linked to Liverpool, and he also sort of released a statement today saying he was really upset with Newcastle and can't really play for them anymore. So that's going to be a spicy fixture in general. I think it's going to be really interesting to see, and I think Salah could be a good captain's option that game week. Arsenal isn't the best, but I'm going to free hit in Game Week 3 personally myself, so I don't really have to worry about him there. And then he has Burnley away and Everton at home, 2 really good fixtures for captaincy points for Salah. So that's why he's my favorite pick currently. We know what he can do in FPL. I don't really have to talk too much about him on penalties, the talisman for Liverpool, everything like that. He is fantastic, so he comes in at number 1. But he is really close to being number 2 because Haaland as well, Erling Haaland, played really well in Game Week 1, or at least Man City played really well, and Haaland got despoiled from that, getting 2. The first goal was pretty simple. The second goal was a decent finish from Haaland. He had several chances apart from that as well. He looked really good. It looks like the new system that Man City are playing is suiting Haaland really well. So he is definitely a really good candidate. But I think the fixtures aren't the best, as you can see there. Spurs at home, Brighton away, Man United at home, Arsenal away. These are all teams that you expect to be in the top half of the table this season. So I think it could be tough for Haaland. The Spurs fixture could be good. I don't think Spurs look that good defensively in Game Week 1, but I think they're also going to set up very differently against Man City in Game Week 2, as we've seen with Thomas Frank in the past. He sets up very differently when he plays the better sides of the Premier League, basically. But we've also seen Haaland destroy Brentford in the past and Thomas Frank's team, so that could happen again against Spurs. But all in all, I think the fixtures just basically edges it slightly for Salah, but Haaland is going to be a really good player to have this season in FPL, and I think going with a Salah and Haaland draft is the way to go. So I have them as the number 1 and number 2 picks in this draft. They are really, really good players, and I wish I had Haaland personally, but I don't, sadly. But yeah, anyways, let's move on to number 3, Tijani Reijnders, who's someone that I do have in my squad. As you can see in the names there, Salah and Reijnders are written in white, while Haaland is written in neon green. The neon green players are the new players from the Game Week 1 draft, and the white fonts are players that were in my Game Week 1 draft. So that means Reijnders is in my team. Thankfully, him and Salah were the only 2 players that actually returned, apart from Gabriel. He actually got a clean sheet for me. But Reijnders was absolutely amazing for City. He was a big reason why City looked so good. He was the man of the match for Manchester City, and yeah, he looks fantastic for 5.5. That's why I had him in my squad for Game Week 1 as well, because he is going to play pretty much every game for Man City, I feel like, 90 minutes as well, mostly. And he's going to play like a decently offensive role. We've seen it in the past. There's no coincidence that he scored from pretty low XG numbers because he is a really good finisher. He's really good at those last parts of the game, like the final third. He is super, super good and really good at driving into the box as well. So Reijnders, really simple pick. 5.5 is a steal, or 5.6 even that is now. Even 6.0, he would be a steal. 6.5, he'd be a steal. 7.0, he'd be a decent player still. Yeah, he's just fantastic value. So, the fixtures aren't the best for Man City. The City assets have definitely been overlooked, but luckily for most of you guys, or a lot of you guys at least, Reijnders was part of your Game Week 1 squad because he is a really good player. So he comes in at number 3, basically. Number 4, we have Strand Larsen, who also played in that same game against Man City. He looked really good for the first half an hour where Wolves actually gave Man City a bit of a fight, but then after Man City took the lead, it sort of went away for Wolves. But Strand Larsen still looked really, really good. The Wolves fixtures as well are going to clear up now as well after playing City. Bournemouth away, I think Bournemouth is a team that you can definitely score against. Everton at home, we've seen also Everton kind of struggle in Game Week 1. Newcastle are still also reeling from not having Isak, and that's going to be a bit of a turmoil game for them as well. And then Leeds at home, and after that, from Game Week 5 onwards, the fixtures are really, really good for Wolves. I think the fixtures are really good. Strand Larsen looks like the main man up front for Wolves. He is actually linked with a move to Newcastle, so that would be really interesting if it goes there. And Newcastle obviously don't have the same, they don't have as good fixtures as Wolverhampton does, so that would sort of put a detriment to his value in FPL, but I think still it's unlikely that he moves to Newcastle. But for now, I think it's a really, really good pick. Personally, I'm going to wait until Game Week 5 to bring him in myself, because that's how my team structure works out. Most likely, I'll bring him in, I think. But I think if I was on a wildcard now, I would definitely have him in my squad, because he is a really good value player for 6.5. And he showed that in Game Week 1, I think, even though it was a really tough game and Man City destroyed Wolverhampton in the end. But Strand Larsen looked really good, and he's someone that I'm really considering as well going forward in FPL, of course. Number 5, we have Cucurella from Chelsea. Mark Cucurella, that's his first name. I blanked on his first name a little bit there, but he looked super attacking for Chelsea, who also kept a clean sheet, and also Cucurella is decent for defensive contribution points whenever Chelsea need to defend a lot in their games as well. So Cucurella just looks like the best of all worlds, really. The fixtures are also really, really good. West Ham and Brentford, two teams that looked absolutely awful in Game Week 1. They faced them. They also play Fulham at home and Man United away, which are also decent-ish fixtures. So Cucurella, just super attacking. He looks like the best 6.0 defender for me currently. I wasn't super impressed by the Chelsea defense. They were solid. They were pretty good, but Crystal Palace easily could have scored, and actually did score, but the goal was disallowed, of course, after the Mark Guehi was deemed to basically be too close to the wall when the shot was taken there. But yeah, Cucurella anyways, even if they don't get a clean sheet, he can get attacking returns, because he's super, super attacking, like even more attacking than what it was last season. And last season he had some really, really good game weeks where he got like 15 points. So yeah, I think it's just really good value, especially with the fixtures that Chelsea have, and he would be the 6.0 defender that I would have currently if I could choose all over again. But sadly, I don't have him. As you can see, his name is in green, which means that I don't have him for my Game Week 1 squad. But if I did a wildcard in Game Week 2, I would definitely have him as my best defender currently in the game, so he comes in at number 5 for that reason. Number 6, Neco Williams, another player that I was close to having in my Game Week 1 squad. I thought about him. He didn't really have the best Game Week 1 actually either, because they did concede in the end. He got a yellow card, so he only got 1 point in the end. But I just think Nottingham Forest looked really, really good. I had some doubts about Nottingham Forest this season, but they looked really good in the first game week. Maybe it's just because they played Brentford. Maybe they'll struggle a bit more in tougher games. We'll get a good test for that in the Crystal Palace fixture coming up now. But Neco Williams still is going to be super attacking. He's going to be decent for defensive contribution points as well, and plays for a team that has really good fixtures and look really solid overall as well. So Neco Williams, I think, pretty simple pick at 5.0. He was a pretty popular preseason pick as well, and I kind of annoyed that I didn't go there myself, even though he didn't get many points in Game Week 1. So hopefully he can also not do well in Game Week 2, and I can bring him in at some point later. But yeah, he's also someone that I'm really eyeing as well for the future of this season in FPL, basically. Number 7, we have Semenyo, who was amazing in Game Week 1, playing away at Anfield against Liverpool, deemed to be one of the tougher fixtures, but Semenyo didn't care. He scored twice. He looked fantastic, as he usually does. Handled everything in that game perfectly well, also after the game, with everything that happened with the racist incident as well towards him. I was just super impressed by him, Semenyo, both on and off the pitch, and he looks amazing in general. Also, that tough fixture where he got 15 points out of it is gone now. They have decent fixtures coming up. Wolves at home looks pretty good, considering how much Wolves struggle against Man City. Then Spurs, Brighton and Newcastle aren't the best fixtures, but after that they have decent fixtures as well, Bournemouth. So yeah, I think Semenyo just can score against anyone as well, as he showed against Liverpool. He's someone that I really like. I had him for Game Week 1 last season, and I really wish I had him for Game Week 1 this season, because Game Week 1 was fantastic from him. So he comes in at number 7 at 7.1 in terms of his costs right now, because he went up in price as well. Number 8, we have Morgan Rogers, who did not really impress that much in Game Week 1. Aston Villa looked a bit lackluster in general, but I think that was just down to the opponent. Newcastle were really up for it in the first game, really defended well and made it difficult for Rogers and the attacking players from Aston Villa. But I think with the fixtures coming up now, it's looking really, really good, especially Brentford away now in Game Week 2. I think the Aston Villa assets like Rodgers and Watkins will definitely show their worth and provide some goals and assists going forward. Rodgers, to his credit at least, had 3 through balls as well, which was the most in Game Week 1. So he's trying at least, but he is, he's someone that is nailed. We know how good he is. 7.0, I still think he's a really good pick. I had him in Game Week 1 for a reason. So even though he didn't perform in the first game week, in a tough fixture, the toughest fixture that they have in like the first opening 8 game weeks almost, I still think I have a lot of faith in him. So yeah, he comes in at number 8 for those reasons. Number 9, we have Patrick Dorgu from Man United. That is a team that looked even better than I expected, Manchester United, and Dorgu looked also super attacking and really good. Had a shot go off the post as well, so he looked really threatening both in terms of goals and potential assists as well. The fixtures aren't the best: Fulham away, Man City away, and Chelsea at home in 3 out of the next 4. But they also have Burnley at home in Game Week 3. I'm personally looking to free hit myself, but I think if I was wildcarding this game week, Dorgu would be someone that I would like really, especially long term, because he is super attacking. 4.5, going to play most games for Man United at left back. He's their only basically natural left wing back, I think, in this squad, especially with Luke Shaw playing as a left centre back. So I think he is going to be pretty nailed and super attacking and playing for a team that looks pretty good going forward as well. They did against Arsenal, the best defensive team in the league. They looked really good offensively. So yeah, Dorgu just impressed me quite a lot. So I think he's someone that I would like to have long term in my squad, even though the fixtures immediately aren't the best. But yeah, not someone that you need to bring in straight away. But if I was on a wildcard, he'd definitely be in my squad, as he is currently at my number 9 pick in this draft. Number 10, we have Joachim Andersen from Fulham. Again, not the best first game week. They did concede Fulham from a penalty after 55 minutes to Matt O'Reilly. Andersen also kind of didn't really have much in terms of defensive contribution numbers at the start of the game, but towards the end of the game, he was really close to getting to the 10 defensive contribution threshold to give him 2 defensive contribution points. And that's the main reason I picked him for my Game Week 1 squad, because he is a really good defensive contributions type of player. Also, Fulham, I think, looked decently solid. Didn't concede too many chances against Brighton in a pretty tough away fixture. And now the next 4 fixtures are really, really good for Fulham. That's where you really want to have someone like Andersen, especially if someone like me who is free hitting when they play Chelsea away in Game Week 3. That is just perfect for me with Andersen playing Leeds at home and Brentford at home in game weeks 4 and 5. That is fantastic for Andersen. So yeah, I think he looked decent first game week in terms of defensive contribution points. He got 8 defensive contributions, really close to that 10 contributions threshold. So I think he's someone I would still keep the faith in my defense. He comes in at number 10. Number 11, we have Chris Wood, who scored twice in the first game week and made us all look like fools for not considering him against Brentford, a really easy fixture. You also look at the other fixtures here. West Ham at home and Burnley away especially stick out in Game Week 3 and in Game Week 5. He also has really good fixtures a really good fixture in Game Week 6 as well, Wood. So the next 5 fixtures are amazing for Chris Wood. He looked the part in Game Week 1, 2 really well taken goals as well. One really nice finish on a half volley, and then the second goal was just fantastic. He just saw immediately that Nottingham Forest would win the ball. He went straight on a run and got a beautiful pass from Elliot Anderson, who I'm also going to talk about in this video eventually, and scored a really nice second goal as well. So Chris Wood, again, overlooked because we just think he can't keep getting away with it, but he just keeps scoring even though he doesn't have the best underlying numbers. So yeah, Wood is pretty much inevitable, it seems like, but it is a bit of a caveat. And there's a reason why I have him number 11, even though he scored and has fantastic fixtures and plays for a team that looked really good in Game Week 1. There are some new signings now for Nottingham Forest. Kalimundo has come in as well now and could threaten some minutes potentially for Wood, or at least threaten some attacking returns as well. So yeah, there are some reasons to be doubtful of Wood, but I think he's just proven that he is someone that you can trust, really. So I would definitely consider having him in my wildcard squad, and most likely have him included like I have done in this draft, basically at number 11. So yeah, good fixtures, really good player, solid player. We know what to expect from Chris Wood. He's a penalty taker, of course, as well. The fixtures are amazing, and Nottingham Forest look a lot better than expected, and also the new signings will make them even better as well, and make them more available to score goals as well. So yeah, Chris Wood has a lot of good attributes, and he comes in at number 11 for those reasons. Number 12, we have Sanchez in goal. I've reluctantly gone with Sanchez rather than Sells. Personally, I didn't pick Sanchez for my own team in Game Week 1 because I sort of feel like I have a curse with Chelsea players, especially Sanchez last season was just not good for me at all, so I just didn't want that bad juju from having him. But now that this is not really going to be my own team, I think if I was someone else picking my team or picking a team, Sanchez would be my goalkeeper because he got decent points returns in the first game. Again, Chelsea defense wasn't like super impressive to me. They were solid, and they have been really solid last season as well. But I think Sanchez is just really good value for 5.0 with the good fixtures that they have. The other option would be Sels, who I'm going to talk about as well, because he's the one dropped out since last time. But Sanchez seems like the best 5.0 goalkeeper currently as it stands, so he comes in at number 12 in this draft. Number 13, we have the backup goalkeeper, which is going to be Dubravka still. He started in Game Week 1. Conceded 3 times against Spurs, as expected, I guess. But at least he starts, and he's a 4.0 goalkeeper, so he's going to get some points. Maybe even in Game Week 2 against Sunderland, which is going to be a really interesting game to gauge how good Sunderland and Burnley are currently. Because Burnley were the much better team last season in the Championship, but Burnley have sort of lost value in their squad, selling or losing some of their best players from last season. And Sunderland, on the other hand, have brought in a lot of good players and looked like a really decent side in the first game week, beating West Ham 3-0. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting game. But Dubravka, he is someone that you could start over Sanchez. I would probably still start Sanchez myself if I had them both in Game Week 2. But Dubravka is just going to be a solid backup goalkeeper, really. But that's really why he's number 13 as well. He's just going to be a backup. He's not going to play many game weeks. But if you need him to play, he's there at least to potentially get some points for you. Number 14, we have Josh King from Fulham. He looked really good in Game Week 1. Actually had like decent in terms of the defensive contributions numbers as well. Played in like an attacking number 10 role. It seems like he's pretty nailed in the team as it stands right now. I don't think Fulham have like any like major like number 10 type of players. They have Emilio Smith-Rowe. They have Andreas Pereira, like decent players. But I think Josh King, with how much he's proven in both preseason and in the first game, he's most likely going to be the starter for Fulham. And at 4.5, that's really good value for someone that was close to getting defensive contribution points and also is pretty attacking for Fulham. So yeah, I think he's really good value. Of course, he's not someone that I would trust to start in most games currently. He still has to prove himself a bit more in terms of FPL points. But he is someone that is going to play, I think, pretty regularly for Fulham. And for that price, that's really, really good. And considering the fixtures that they have as well, he's just someone that I'm really happy to have currently in my squad as well. Seeing who's in number 14, not like the most important pick currently, but he could become a really good, valuable, cheap asset in FPL. So yeah, he goes in at number 14. Number 15, we have Gudmundsson from Leeds. Again, Leeds looked really impressive in the first game week against Everton, kept a clean sheet. Gudmundsson got some bonus points as well. Decent for defensive contribution points even as well, as we didn't really expect that, but we don't really know what's going to happen with promoted teams when they get into the Premier League compared to last season. And also attacking wise, he looked really offensive, not quite as offensive as Jayden Bogle at right wing back or right back, but he is also 0.5 cheaper as well. So Gudmundsson is just someone that is really nice to have. Also for this squad in particular, with Andersen, for example, and Dorgu, who don't have the best fixtures in game week 7 and 8. Gudmundsson has 2 really good fixtures in those game weeks, so he suits this squad really well for a really cheap price of 4.0. He's going to play every game. He's a new signing for Leeds. That's another reason why we don't really know about his defensive contribution numbers this season. And he looked really good in game week 1 in general, as did Leeds, really. So yeah, I think he's a really nice player to have at that cheap price at 4.0 as my 15th pick. But again, not really someone that I'm trusting that much, and also someone that has pretty tough fixtures in the next 4. So yeah, he's not someone that is essential to have. He's also really easy to get, of course, when you need him. When you need him for game week 7 and 8, you can just downgrade any defender, really. He's not someone that you need to have on a wildcard because his price, he's really easily achievable because anyone can get him really at that price. So he comes in at number 15. So yeah, we have selected our squad of 15 players. You can see that there are almost half of them are new since last time, which means that almost half have dropped out since last time. So let's talk about those players before we move on to the 3 players that were close to making the squad but didn't for one reason or another. And there's a lot of good picks in from the Game Week 1 squad that didn't really perform in Game Week 1, namely Jared Bowen, who I had as the number 2 pick. I was pretty certain to have Bowen in my team pretty much throughout preseason because I figured West Ham would actually win the first game against Sunderland and Bowen would be good in that game. But Bowen started off nicely, had like a decent shot attempt pretty early. West Ham looked a much better siding in the first half as well. But then second half, Sunderland just all of a sudden started scoring goals and West Ham looked pretty lackluster going forward. And I think that's the case with West Ham as well. Just did not look good at all in Game Week 1. And that has lost my faith in Bowen. Oh, of course, the Sunderland fixture was one of the main reasons that I had him so high last game week as well. So he was always going to drop down in the rankings for Game Week 2 draft. But he's now dropped out of the team entirely because he's just too expensive for someone that plays for a pretty bad team. But Bowen is still an amazing player. I think he's going to score some goals at least in the first few game weeks anyway. So I'm not too worried about selling him myself in my own team. But on a wildcard, I would definitely drop him out because West Ham just looked really bad against their easiest opposition in the first few game weeks. So yeah, Bowen has dropped out since last time. Cole Palmer as well did not look good at all. He's one that I gained more and more trust in as the preseason went along. It was basically just like the FOMO of like not having Palmer because everyone had him really. But Chelsea did not look good at all in the first game week, or especially Palmer and Joao Pedro, namely. So I lost a bit of faith in Palmer, but again, they play West Ham, who looked even worse in game week 1, or super bad in game week 1. So I think Palmer is someone that you could definitely keep in your own team. But he is on a short leash anyway, even if you're not wildcarding. He's someone that I would look to sell potentially. And with this squad where we have Haaland and Salah, he just couldn't make the cut really. So he's been cut since last time. El Hadj Malik Diouf was really close to scoring, which would have made this a bit differently. But currently, I just think Dorgu plays for a better team, has the sort of same role, has the sort of same attributes. So I just prefer him overall. And Diouf, again, Sunderland fixtures out of the way. That was his best chance of getting points. But I do think he's still a good pick. I'm not going to sell him in my own squad. That's the case for a lot of the players that I have in my squad, as you can see, that I've dropped out in this wildcard draft. So I wouldn't sell him personally on a transfer. But on a wildcard, he just has to drop out. But he's still like close to it. He could have been like an on the cusp player if I didn't have him in game week 1, because he is really attacking, and again was really close to scoring in game week 1, but just didn't. So yeah, he's also dropped out. Agbadou, he was close to making the squad in general. He could have been an on the cusp player. I don't usually have on the cusp players that were in the squad from last game week. But yeah, Wolves obviously conceded 4 times against Man City, which is not ideal. But they're going to face a lot weaker sides eventually this season, and he is more of a long-term pick. And I think the short-term fixtures are also like decent now that the City fixture has finished. So Agbadou still pretty good, still should be good for defensive contribution numbers and stuff, but he has dropped out because I do feel like the other defenders are just better value currently. Marcels, like I said, was a really close call between him and Sanchez. I do think Nottingham Forest might be the better defense. They just conceded the first game week because of a stupid penalty, really. Where Cels, if he had saved that as well, would have been massive for my team, and also Cels' value. But yeah, Sanchez just made it barely over Cels, but Cels is still a really good player to have currently in FPL as well. Gyökeres was not impressive at all in the first game week, but I do think he's going to come into his own eventually. But for me, as someone that picked him for game week 2 in mind especially, I would have wished that he looked a lot better in game week 1. On the plus side, at least, it seems like he's going to be the penalty taker. There's a new news report from a journalist in Sweden that has really close ties to Gyökeres and his agents and stuff, who also broke the news about Gyökeres going to Arsenal before most people. He has said that Gyökeres is going to be the main penalty taker for Arsenal this season ahead of Saka. So that's at least good news for game week 2. But the fact that he got subbed off after 59 minutes, didn't look the best when he played for those 59 minutes, and Havertz is working himself back into fitness. Yeah, Gyökeres is just not the one currently, but I would not sell him, of course, for game week 2 because he has Leeds, but on a wildcard, I would probably just drop him out because he's not worth a punt, really, because he's going to play most likely 70 minutes at most. So, yeah, he's dropped out. Mateta as well has dropped out. He was really close to making the squad, actually, over Chris Wood, because that was mainly the thing that I was struggling with. I played Chelsea in the first game, which is a tough fixture, obviously. Mateta had a decent chance to score as well, so could have been better. But, yeah, pretty good fixtures for the next 4 fixtures. Mateta also is good. He's going to be the main striker for Palace. He's going to be the main penalty taker as well, it seems like, with Eze now leaving, it seems like, for Spurs. Mateta is still really good value. And Reijnders as well from Palace kept a clean sheet in the first game week, so it's kind of harsh that I've dropped him out since last time. I do prefer the other players, I guess. But Reijnders is also someone that could definitely be in your squad still on a wildcard. But I've just dropped him out for, just because I preferred some of the other defenders, I guess. And then finally, Gabriel as well at 15th. He's also someone that is unlucky to lose out, but I just think Cucurella is better for offensive returns potentially. And I think Arsenal look actually kind of more shaky than I expected in game week 1. That might have just been the opposition, Man United. They did keep a clean sheet in the end after all, so he got points, but he didn't get defensive contribution points. Saliba did. He didn't get bonus points either. So I think he's close to making the squad, but just didn't, because I do have a preference for Cucurella currently because he was so attacking in game week 1 especially. So finally we have the 3 players that were close to making the squad but didn't. 3 on the cusp players, 1 in each position, 1 defender, 1 midfielder, 1 attacker. Let's see who they are and then end the video after talking about each and every one of them. First and foremost, defender, Aït-Nouri. I know he looked impressive in the first game week. He got 15 defensive contributions, which is amazing. Maybe that's the new normal now that he is at Man City. That could change a lot of things for defenders when they move to new teams. He also had a bit of a different role. For Wolves, he played as a wingback basically mostly. For Man City, he played more like as one of the 3 defenders, like the 3 defenders that were the most the furthest back in the not in the table, in the pitch, really. Sorry, I'm just losing my mind now. But so he played a bit of a different role, but that's also why I'm a bit worried, because Guardiola was not ready to play in this game week. And I think if he was fit to play, he would probably be the preferred candidate to play in that position. Maybe in like the easier fixtures, Aït-Nouri will play because he is someone that can offer more going forward than Guardiola. But I think playing as one of like the 3 sort of center backs in the de facto system that Man City play, I think it's going to be a bit of a struggle for Aït-Nouri going forward. But game week 1 was amazing, of course. Defensive contribution points, bonus points, and clean sheet points. Amazing for Aït-Nouri, who is someone that you should definitely consider. But I think with Guardiola being fit, the playing time might be a bit of a struggle, more so than we thought from game week 1, because he started in game week 1, but that's mostly because Guardiola didn't play, and Aït-Nouri sort of played the Guardiola role instead. And Guardiola is someone that played pretty much every game last season, so I would definitely think he would start next time around, and I would expect him to play in that left centre-back role where Aït-Nouri played basically for this past game. So I do consider him. He's going to be a really good player, especially if he plays more attacking. If he plays like on the wing as well, which he could do, he's going to be an amazing pick for 6.0, but yeah, for now, he's out of the squad, but he's close to making it as well. But yeah, I prefer Cucurella, and I don't have enough money in the bank for another 6.0 defender, so he doesn't make the squad in the end because of those reasons, really. Elliot Andersen looked amazing, and I would probably have him in the squad if it was just based off of a game week 1 and how good he looked there. Not only for defensive contribution points, where he got 11 defensive contributions, which was 1 away from getting the 2 extra points. He got an assist, he got almost another assist, got almost another assist on top of that as well from getting a penalty, and he had another big chance that he missed as well. So he looked really good offensively, looked really good overall. He's a really good player in general. But now, Nottingham Forest are signing a lot of new players. One of them is Douglas Luiz, who might take away corners from Andersen, which will take away a lot of the source for potential assists. Maybe that will take away some defensive contribution points as well from Andersen as well. It's just the new signings that Nottingham Forest are doing as well. They also brought in McAtee as well from Manchester City. There's just a lot of new players. I'm not sure about the 19-minute potential for Andersen. I still think he's a sure starter for Nottingham Forest, but I think the minutes, the defensive contributions potentially, and also set pieces and assist potential is going to go down with the new signings. So I just don't have enough faith in Andersen currently, even though he's only 5.5 and looked really, really good in game week 1. I can't stress that enough. He looked amazing in game week 1. But yeah, for that reason, he's left out, but he's someone that could potentially make the squad eventually as well. Up front, Ollie Watkins was really disappointing in the first game week, but I do think Aston Villa will play a lot better going forward. And I think Watkins, especially in the game week 2 fixture against Brentford, he could definitely score. He usually scores against his former team. That's he's made a habit of that. He just usually doesn't score in the first game week. But I think for the long haul, he's going to be a really good player for Aston Villa and in your FPL team. So I would definitely not sell him if I had him currently in my squad. But I just don't have enough money in the bank for him to be in this squad over Wood. I could do Rodgers to Andersen and Wood to Watkins, but like I said just now with Andersen, just don't trust him enough with the new signings. And I do think Chris Wood has looked amazing as well, and he's going to be the main striker for Forest still, I imagine. So yeah, I go with Rodgers and Wood over Andersen and Watkins, but it's really close between them because they are pretty much the same price. Rodgers is 7.0, Andersen is 5.5, Wood is 7.5, and Watkins is 9.0. So basically it is the same value all put together, but I do slightly prefer Rodgers and Wood. Also for minutes, I think I mean, it's pretty close. They're all 4 of them are pretty much nailed starters really. So yeah, 2 different options you can do there. If you do prefer Andersen and Watkins, go with that. But I prefer Rodgers and Wood slightly. That's it basically for the weekly wildcard draft. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to do this every single game week, make a wildcard draft for every single game week. And that's what I also do with free hits on my team selection video on Fridays. I do a free hit every single game week as well. So you'll get free hits, wildcard. It's going to be even more important now this season with the new chips in place, double chips, double in terms of the free hit, and the wildcard of course has always been double, but you get both the wildcard draft and the free hit drafts on this channel as well if you want to subscribe and watch my videos. So I hope you do. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching as always. See you next time. Bye bye.